Meow meow, it's me. So, I have been wanting to do a voice talent origin story for quite a while now. And really recently, someone asked me how to get started being a professional voice talent and any tips regarding voice acting and things like that. So I thought, okay, it's time to push out this video, and this will be a three-part story. I will be sharing a background of my voice and how I felt about my voice and what I sounded like prior to being a voice talent. And then it will make more sense to then tell you why, when the reason came up to do this, it was such a surprise and how I felt about that. And then I will share how I got started. I am sharing the why first before the how because I really I started doing this seriously this at the beginning of this year. So I am 7 months in and still very much a noob, but I can tell you that I know that it is more work, it is more expensive and time consuming than you think it will be. It it is not just getting paid to talk. If people have been telling you that you have a deep voice all your life and you now think that you should do audiobooks, you that should take you, if that is your reason why, you better hope that it'll take you long term because you would probably need a really solid reason to keep doing this because if you think that you can be a professional voice talent just because you can do accents, you you need more than that to keep you on. You need more than that to push you further because audition after audition after audition after audition after a list of auditions that you don't get, that you are not getting paid for, you will need a stronger why than people have told you that you have a deep voice. You will need a stronger why when you have hundreds of auditions that you didn't land because, and you still think that you can do act, and you still, just because you can do accents and you haven't landed a single thing, you will need something to keep you pushing forward. And that is why I will share my why first. So let's start with the backstory. I grew up a theater kid. I love live theater. I love performing live. I grew up taking dance classes and doing theater, and I think live entertainment has magic. I think theater is much superior to video. And for my first play in high school, um the director the director straight up told me that he didn't think my voice and or accent fit the character or even the setting, but I got cast in the show anyways because not enough people auditioned. So throughout rehearsals, he had me do an accent, and then 2 weeks later he didn't like it, and then he came up with another voice or some other accent for me to try, and eventually, what we settled on was Tyler Perry's Medea, and he told me to do that. So I was the only person in this high school play theater competition to be doing a character voice. Everybody else was just doing their usual. And theater was very important to me. I felt at flow in it. It was more than a hobby, it was more than an elective. I wasn't just doing theater and then still had dreams to be a doctor. No, I felt really at flow, and I have not felt that way about any other workplace as of yet. I it's a feeling that nothing else has given me, and I felt theater was what I really wanted to keep doing as a career and polishing my craft. And ever since that play, I felt like uh, my voice was the reason why I would never be a good actor, that I would never be as successful as other people. And even though I do not have a speech impediment, that this was something that needed fixing. And then on the second play that I did, that director, that was his last show, and then he retired, and then they got somebody else to replace him, obviously. And I was back again the next semester doing my theater elective and meeting the new teacher, and everybody was just hanging out. And like an hour later, this guy was like, "Oh, I know where I know you from now. You were in that show on the last competition doing that play." And like I had done an accent for that play, and it took this teacher like an hour to figure out like my voice and who I was. And he said, "You have a very specific voice." And as I got to know him, I realized that he was a very classically trained actor, and I felt better. I felt like, oh, it's not wrong to grow up knowing multiple languages. Like, it's not the accent. This is actually part of me. This is actually my voice. And a lot of people don't know that. So they'll just say accent, but this is like my voice is special. Like how he said it's specific. And then when I was doing my theater degree on the last show that I was on, uh, again, being in theater, we were hanging out, and I believe it was the assistant director who said, "Oh, yeah, they all liked you for the role." Um, and the director had mentioned, "Oh yeah, she would be perfect for it if it wasn't for her accent." So again, my voice was wrong. The way that I expressed myself was wrong. I was still cast in the show anyways. And then when I kept pursuing performing arts and acting, and I finished my high school diploma and my theater degree at the same time. And then I went to California to an acting school. I went to LA, and not a single person told me anything about my voice or my accent. No one doubted me where I was from when I would say I am from South Texas. I was just fine because I had had previous experiences in my hometown where I meet someone and they're like, "Where are you from?" And I'm like, "I'm from here." And they get confused and uncomfortable, and I get confused and uncomfortable. And it's a very unpleasant for everybody involved. And then, so being in California, where none of my acting teachers said, like, "Oh, like you should, have you thought about accent reduction? Or I know an accent reduction specialist, or, can you do accents? Because you might need to do different accents for all the roles," or nothing, 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 nothing. I was just fine. No one told me anything. And, uh, then when I moved to Arizona, I um went back to school. I changed majors and I was doing my second degree. And then I started experiencing more instances of people asking me, like, where are you from? But you don't sound like you're from Texas. Where are you from? Oh, but where is your accent from? And like, it's especially bad when it's those people that are like, oh, I know accents. Like, I know accents. I have an ear. Like, I'm really good at this. And like, where are you from? And I tell them, and it's like they don't believe me. They think that I'm lying. And because of that, um, with my experiences concerning the way I sound from high school and college, I I've gone up. My comfortable level with my voice has had its ups and downs where I'll feel more confident about it, and then sometimes I won't, and I'll feel back to being embarrassed and insecure about the way that I express myself, which is something that you would think is so natural for, everyone, and somehow some people seem to express themselves wrong in certain situations or whatever. So that is my story and my background for how I felt about my voice before becoming a voice talent.